Man is not the victim of illness, he is the creator of it. Let this statement settle in the room. Let it challenge you. For many, this is a difficult, almost offensive proposition. Our entire world is built upon the opposite assumption. We are taught from birth that we are victims of germs, victims of accidents, victims of heredity, victims of the body itself. We see the body as a frail machine, susceptible to breakdown, constantly under attack from a hostile world. And so, we live in a state of defense, hoping to avoid the inevitable, fighting what we fear. But this is not a statement meant to condemn. It is a statement meant to awaken. It is perhaps the single most liberating truth a man can ever hear. For if you are the creator of a negative condition, you are equally the creator of a positive one. If you, by a misuse of the law, have brought forth limitation, then you, by a conscious use of that same law, can bring forth liberation, harmony, and perfect health. You are not the creator of illness because you consciously wish to suffer. No conscious mind desires limitation. No one invites pain as a welcome guest. The creation is of a more subtle, more profound nature. You are its creator because, unknowingly, you have accepted a state of being. You have consented to a belief. You have harbored an inner conversation that contradicts the fundamental, unchangeable, and eternal truth of life within you. What is this accepted state? It is the sum of your fears, your beliefs, your assumptions, and your reactions to the world. It is the inner atmosphere you live in. You are told by the world, it is flu season, and you accept it. You feel a strange sensation in the body, and your mind immediately runs to the worst possible conclusion, and you accept it. You are given a diagnosis, a label printed on paper, and you accept it as a final judgment. Each of these acceptances is an act of creation. Each is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. And the subconscious is no respecter of persons. It does not care if the seed is good or bad. It is an impartial servant. It will grow any seed you give it with faith. And what is faith? It is your persistent assumption. It is the feeling of that state being real. The body is but the shadow of the mind. Let us dwell on this. This is not poetry. This is a mechanism. A shadow has no will of its own. It does not argue. It cannot decide to be different from the object that casts it. If the object is tall, the shadow is tall. If the object moves its arm, the shadow moves its arm instantly. The shadow is a perfect, obedient, and unthinking reporter of the object. Your body is that shadow. Your consciousness is the object. If your shadow, your physical health, your energy, your vitality appears distorted, weak, or sick, what is the logical course of action? The world, in its slumber, tells you to fight the shadow. It tells you to operate on the shadow. It gives you pills to change the shadow's color, or surgery to cut the shadow's shape. And yet, the object casting the shadow, your state of consciousness, remains unchanged. And so, the shadow, though perhaps temporarily altered, must eventually reform itself to match the blueprint held in the mind. This is why we see conditions return. This is why we manage illness instead of transcending it. We are busy polishing a reflection in a mirror, frantically trying to change it, all while refusing to look at the one being who is projecting the reflection in the first place. When the mind, the object, is saturated in fear, the shadow must twist itself into the shape of fear. When the mind is saturated in worry, the shadow must reflect the chaos of worry. When the mind lives in the persistent assumption of weakness, the body, as a loyal shadow, must obey. It cannot do otherwise. It must follow the blueprint. Your inner assumptions, your secret beliefs, your habitual inner conversations, this is the blueprint. The body is the faithful construction worker that builds, cell by cell, the exact structure you have designed in secret. You are told that your condition is genetic, that you are at the mercy of a code passed down to you. But who holds that code in consciousness? Who accepts that blueprint as their own? You are free to reject any inheritance. The moment you assume a new state, you choose a new lineage. You choose a new divine blueprint, and the body must conform. Let us speak of this saturation. Let us speak of fear and worry. These are not passive observers. They are active, creative forces. Worry is the misuse of imagination. It is the act of rehearsing tragedy. It is a mental conversation, not with a friend, but with an enemy. It is the act of praying with great feeling and persistence for what you do not want. And the law, being impersonal, must answer. The world moves in response to your inner conversation. Every moment of your day, you are engaged in this silent inner speech, and your body is listening. Every cell is listening. When your inner conversation is one of complaint, of fear, of my pain, of my condition, your body listens and says, "Yes, Master." It forms the flesh you wear to match the words you speak in silence. The body is the most suggestible and obedient servant you have. It believes every word you whisper to it. If you continually suggest weakness, it will produce weakness. If you continually suggest to it that it is vulnerable, it will become vulnerable. It has no power to reject your inner decree. But now, we turn from the problem to the grand solution. For the very same law that creates illness is the law that creates health. The law is perfect. It is only our use of it that is flawed. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. This is the false indictment. This is the lie that has kept man in bondage. You are not a victim. You are the operant power. What does this mean? It means you are the operator. You are the one who chooses the state, the world, your body, your circumstances. These are the effects. You are the cause. This is a tremendous and wonderful responsibility. It means you can no longer blame the world for your condition. You cannot blame your past. You cannot blame your environment. For the moment you do, you give your power away to them. You make them the cause, and you become the effect, the victim. But the moment you declare, "I am the operant power," you reclaim your birthright. You take the scepter and return to the throne. Within you lies the word, the creative word. And that word is your feeling, your awareness, your I amness. This I am is the name of God. It is the truth of life that we spoke of, the truth that illness contradicts. The fundamental truth of your being is I am. It is not I am sick, or I am weak, or I am afraid. These are but additions, masks, and limitations you have placed upon the infinite. The core truth is simply I am. It is pure, formless, perfect awareness. It is life itself. This I am is the Christ within you. It is the Savior. It is not a man who lived 2,000 years ago. It is the power of your own wonderful human imagination. This is the power that can make you whole. The body, then, is a mirror. It is a living, breathing, biological mirror reflecting exactly what you are in consciousness. When you look in a mirror, if you see a spot of dirt on your face, you do not try to wash the mirror. You do not blame the mirror. You do not analyze the chemical composition of the mirror. You understand it is a reflection, and you use it as a tool. You go within, to yourself, and you wash the spot from your face. When you are clean, you look back at the mirror, and it perfectly reflects the change you made. Your body is this mirror. The symptom is the spot of dirt. The world will have you analyze the spot, fear the spot, fight the spot. The mystic, the master, simply turns away from the mirror. He goes within, to the one being who is projecting the image, his own I amness, his imagination, and he washes the spot. How? By assuming a new state, by feeling himself to be the man he desires to be. He denies the evidence of the senses. He denies the report of the mirror. He knows it is only reflecting an old assumption. He turns within and declares, I am whole, I am radiant, I am vital, and he rests in that new assumption. He feels what it would be like to be whole, and then the mirror, the body, having no choice, must change. It must conform to the new inner image impressed upon it with faith. This is the great secret. This is the truth that sets you free. You are not a victim of illness. You are a victim of an old assumption. You are a victim of your own ungoverned imagination. The indictment is false. You are not guilty of being frail. You are not guilty of being weak. You are only guilty of being asleep. You are guilty of not knowing your own power. And so, this is our starting point. Our entire journey, from this moment forward, is to learn how to use this power. To move from being an unconscious creator of limitation to a conscious creator of health. We will not be fighting illness, that is the old way, the way of the shadow boxer. We will be assuming health. We must learn to distinguish between the two. Fighting illness means focusing on the problem. It means acknowledging the sickness as a powerful reality. It means your attention, your feeling, your inner conversation is fixed on what is wrong. And whatever you fix your attention on, you magnify. Assuming health means turning your back on the problem and focusing only on the solution. It means living in imagination as if you were already whole. It means your attention, your feeling, and your inner conversation are fixed on what is true. And the only truth is that which you choose to accept. Therefore, we must begin by understanding the power that gives these assumptions life. We must understand the nature of the I am within you. We must learn to command it. We must learn to speak from our desire, not of our desire. This is the foundation, that you are the creator. Your tool is your imagination. The blueprint is your assumption. And the result, the shadow, is your body and your world. Let us now cast aside the false indictment. Let us drop the chains of victimhood. Let us rise from the slumber of circumstance and claim our authority as the operant power. The power to change your health is not in a pill or a knife or a doctor. It is within you. It is you. The journey now is to learn how to wield it. We must first understand the name of this power, the name of God, the name that reshapes all things, which is I am. In the introduction, we have overturned the false indictment. We have cast out the belief that man is a victim, and we have established the truth that you are the sole creator of your reality, including the very body you wear. We have identified the body as a shadow, a perfect and obedient reflection of the state of consciousness you hold within. Now, we must ask the most important question a human being can ever ask. If I am the creator, what is this creative power? How do I use it? What is the name of this power? The answer is the secret of the ages. It is the rock upon which all creation is built. The creative power within you is your awareness of being. It is your I am. You are, this very moment, always impressing something upon the subconscious. This subconscious is the womb of creation. It is the fertile soil that we spoke of, and it receives every impression, every feeling, every conviction you consent to as true. That which you impress upon it with conviction must, by an immutable law, be made manifest in your world. The body, as the most immediate part of your outer world, is the first to bend to the command of your inner assumption. If you wish to change the state of your health, you must begin. You cannot begin by focusing on the shadow. You must begin not with pills or prognosis, not with diet or exercise, though these things may have their place as outer expressions of an inner change. You must begin with belief. But what is belief? Belief is not a weak hope. It is not a desperate wish. Belief is the acceptance of a thing as true. It is the inner consent. The work is to change your belief about yourself. You must cultivate a belief in the living Christ within you. Let us be very clear, for this is where the world has slumbered. The Christ is not a historical figure separate from you. Christ is your own wonderful human imagination. Christ is the Savior, the power within you that can redeem you from the state you are in. It is your imagination, your awareness, that is the I am that speaks, and it is so. The entire drama of Scripture is a psychological drama taking place within the mind of man. The greatest revelation ever given to man is found in the story of Moses before the burning bush. Moses, symbolizing the awakened man who seeks the cause, asks the name of God. He asks for the name of the creative power, and the voice replies, I am that I am. This was not the naming of an external deity. This was the statement of existence itself. The name of God, the name of the Creator, is I am. Before you are healthy, you are. Before you are sick, you are. Before you are rich, you are. Before you are poor, you are. This I amness is the one and only reality. It is the foundation. It is the eternal, formless life principle. The second part of that statement is the key. I am that I am. This means quite literally, I am that which I am aware of being. I am that which I assume myself to be. This is the power, and this is the responsibility. Your awareness of being is God. Therefore, whatever you attach to I am becomes your reality. This is the divine law of assumption. The world does not give you what you want. It does not respond to your desires. It responds without fail to your assumptions. It gives you what you are. Now, let us look at how man, in his slumber, has tragically misused this power. Let us look at the spells you cast upon yourself every single day. When you say, I am sick, you have just taken the holy name of God, your creative power, and attached it to limitation. You are not reporting a fact. You are prophesying. You are commanding your subconscious to produce sickness, and your subconscious, the faithful servant, obeys. It does not argue. It does not judge. It simply fulfills your decree. When you say, I am tired, you invoke tiredness. When you say, I am unlucky, you command misfortune. When you say, I am weak, you are impressing weakness upon the very cells of your body. The body is listening. It is listening to the words you speak in silence, to the inner conversations you hold as true. This is not a future tense operation. The statement is not, I will be. I am is not a future tense. It is the eternal now. God speaks only in the now. I am is the one and only present reality. When you say, I will be healthy, what are you really assuming? You are assuming that you are not healthy now. And since the law can only bring forth what you are now, you will remain in the state of waiting to be healthy. You have commanded your world to produce waiting, and it will faithfully produce that state of perpetual longing. When you say, I am trying to get well, you are assuming that you are not well. You are commanding the state of trying, and so you will live in the struggle, the effort, the fight. You will always be trying and never being. This is the power of I am. It is absolute. It is the one cause. Now let us look at the most subtle and pervasive spell that holds man in bondage. It is the use of the word my pain, my condition, my disease. When you use the word my, you are doing something profound. You are identifying with the limitation. You are fusing your infinite I amness with the finite condition. You are, in that moment, laying claim to it. You are making it a part of your identity. And as long as you identify with it, it remains with you. You have welded it to your awareness. To manifest health, you must, this very moment, cease to identify with sickness. You are not the condition that visits your body. You are the awareness behind it. You are the operant power that, in a moment of unawareness, allowed that condition to enter. And you are the same power that can command it to leave. How do you do this? You do not fight it. You withdraw your attention from it. You cease to believe in it. You must stop speaking of illness as yours. It is a shadow, an echo of an old assumption. It has no power of its own. Its only life is the life you give it with your attention and your identification. This is not pretending. Pretending is knowing something is not true. Assuming is claiming something is real in spite of outer appearances. You are not pretending to be healthy. You are identifying with a higher truth. The truth is that your core I amness is, and always has been, perfect, whole, and complete. The sickness is a shadow cast upon it by a false belief. Your work is to return to the truth of your being. This requires you to make a choice. This very day, this very moment, you must choose whom you will serve. Will you serve the old man of limitation? This is the man who is governed by his senses. This is the man who believes the doctor's report, who believes the ache in his body, who believes the facts of the world. This is the man who lives by sight. Or will you serve the Christ within? The Christ within is your own imagination, your I am. This is the power that speaks, be thou made whole. This is the power that can call that which is not seen, as though it were, and it shall be. This is the power that walks on water, turning the fluid, unstable appearance of problems into a solid pathway. This is the power that feeds the multitudes, taking a small feeling of health and multiplying it until it fills your entire being. You cannot serve both. You cannot have one inner conversation of I am whole for 5 minutes, and then spend the rest of your day in a mental conversation of fear, worry, and doubt. A house divided against itself cannot stand. You must be deliberate in your speech. You must be intentional in your thought. You must become vigilant in your choice of words, not in fear but in power. Begin now to speak the language of your desired state. Speak from the end. If you desire health, you must speak as if you are already healthy. When a friend asks how you are, you do not need to lie, but your inner answer must be, I am whole. Your inner conversation must be one of praise and gratitude for your vitality. This is the great command. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the key. It is not enough to merely think about health. You must feel it. You must embody it. You must wear the assumption of health as you would a fine garment. When you say, I am healed, even before the shadow body has caught up, when you declare, I am vibrant, I am radiant, I am free, you are aligning with the divine law of assumption. You are speaking from the end, and the body must eventually follow. Your body is listening, the subconscious is listening, and the I am within you, the creative power of God, is waiting patiently for your decree. Whatever you attach to I am, you become. So let us no longer attach weakness, or fear, or sickness to that holy name. Let us attach wholeness, let us attach energy, let us attach youth, and peace, and vitality. Let these lie in you as natural truths. For you are not the body. You are the I am that gives the body life. You are the operant power. This is the first principle. This is the foundation upon which your healing is not just possible but inevitable. But now, as you stand in this new knowing, you are immediately confronted by a giant. You are confronted by the evidence of your senses. The mirror, the body, is still reflecting the old image. How do you stand firm in the assumption of I am whole when the senses scream, you are sick? This is the great test. And to pass it, we must now understand the true nature of what you call reality. We must understand the great illusion of the senses. This is a critical turning point in our understanding. We have established the law, your I am, your awareness of being is the one and only creative power. We have accepted that whatever you attach to I am, you become. But the moment you, the aspiring master, attempt to use this power, you are confronted by a giant. You are faced with an army. This army is your 5 senses. You stand in your new knowing and declare, I am whole. And immediately, the senses march forward to challenge you. Your eyes see the reflection in the mirror, and they report, you are not whole. You are weary. Your body whispers in discomfort, and your sense of touch reports, I am in pain. Your ears hear the doctor's prognosis, the echo of limitation, and they report, you are sick. The facts say so. This is the great test. This is the greatest battle you will ever fight. It is not a battle against a disease. It is a battle between your 2 selves, the I am within and the old man of the senses. We must now, with absolute clarity, understand the nature of this enemy. We must dismantle the illusion of the senses. Let us not be deceived by appearances. The senses are not creative. They are reporters. They are instruments of observation. They do not decree. They only describe. And what, precisely, are they describing? The senses can only report what is. And what is the past. This is the secret that will set you free. What the senses report is not the present law. It is merely the echo of old thoughts. It is the shadow of old beliefs. It is the fruit of old assumptions that once lived in your inner world. The senses are a mirror. When you look at a mirror, you understand that it is a reflection. It has no substance of its own. By the time your body, this physical mirror, reflects a condition, whether you call it sickness or health, it is the end result of a creative process that is already finished. The condition you see and feel today is the harvest of seeds you planted in your consciousness yesterday, or last week, or 10 years ago. When you look at your sickness, you are looking at the past. The world in its slumber teaches you to worship these appearances. It teaches you that seeing is believing. It tells you to trust the facts. It tells you to accept the diagnosis, to bow down to the symptom. It tells you to trust the shadow over the object that casts it. But if you accept these reports as final truths, you bind yourself to them. You are in that moment re-impressing that old state. You are taking the seed of the old harvest and planting it again for tomorrow. You are perpetuating the very limitation you wish to escape. If you would be made whole, you must do the one thing that seems impossible. You must deny the evidence of the senses. Let us be very clear what this means. This is not denial of reality in the way the world means. This is not pretending the symptom does not exist. We are not asking you to become a fool. This is the denial of permanence in what is temporary. It is the denial of authority in that which has none. When the body whispers pain, you do not deny that the sensation is present. You deny that it is the truth. You deny that it is the final word. You deny that it has any power over your true being, which is your I am. This is not self-deception. This is the highest form of wisdom. You are refusing to worship the shadow and are instead giving your loyalty to the light. What is this shadow? The sickness you see, the weakness you feel, the fatigue you endure, these are shadows. And shadows are cast by light. That light is your imagination, your assumption, your inner conviction. If your inner assumption has been one of fear or weakness or I am vulnerable, it casts this shadow you call illness. You do not fight a shadow. You cannot operate on a shadow. How do you destroy a shadow? You do not. You simply turn your face to the light, and when you turn to the light, the truth of your new assumption, the shadow must dissolve. The outer world, the body, must rearrange itself to reflect the new light within. This is the art of mastery. The world will call it madness. It is looking at a trembling hand and saying, in the silence of your soul, I am steady. It is hearing a fearful diagnosis and saying within, with absolute conviction, I am whole. It is feeling the wave of fatigue and still declaring, in that inner sanctuary, I am life itself. I am energy. You are not reacting to conditions. You are creating them. You are refusing to be a victim of appearances and are assuming your authority as the creator of appearances. This is the great divide between the old man and the new man. The old man, the one governed by the senses, lives by sight. He sees the symptom and he believes in the symptom. He reacts, he fears, he fights. And by fighting it, he magnifies it. He gives it his divine attention and thus gives it his life. The new man, the I am, awakened, lives by faith. And what is faith? Faith is not a blind hope. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Faith is loyalty to your assumption. You must disregard appearances, disregard conditions. In fact, disregard all evidence of your senses that denies the fulfillment of your desire. This requires a certain mental fortitude. It requires that you stop the inner conversation of complaint and begin the inner conversation of praise. The senses will tempt you. They are the great seducers. They will whisper, it is not working. You are still sick. Look, the pain is still here. They are testing your faith in your I-N. You must remember, in that moment, that the senses are blind. They can only reflect the past. They are blind to the new seed you have just planted. They are blind to the new, true assumption you have decreed. You are not becoming well. That, as we learned, is a confession that you are not well. You already are. Your work is not to make it happen. Your work is to assume it, to feel it, and to rest in it until the outer world, the shadow, catches up with the inner, and now permanent, change. Let us take the story of Lot's wife. She was being led out of Sodom. the land of destruction, the land of old, negative assumptions. She was given one command: do not look back. But as she fled, she heard the chaos behind her. She heard the facts of the old world, and she turned and she looked back at the appearance of destruction. And in that moment, she was turned into a pillar of salt. She was crystallized in that old state of limitation. Every time you assume your health, and then you feel a symptom and you look back in fear, you are being Lot's wife. You are giving your attention to the old state, and you risk being crystallized in it. Your loyalty must be to the new state, the state of your fulfilled desire. There is only one cause, and that cause is imagination. The world, your body, it moves only in response to your inner mental conversations. If your inner conversations are dictated by your senses, you are in a prison, running in a circle, forever recreating the past. But if your inner conversations are dictated by your wish fulfilled in defiance of the senses, then you are the master. You have broken the chains. Speak life into your being. See yourself radiant. Feel yourself filled with energy. Dwell in the knowing that you are whole and harmonious. Do not wait for the body to confirm it. You must begin in the unseen, for the unseen is where all life is born. This is the second great principle. First, your I am is the only creator. Second, the senses are only passive reporters of a past creation. When the world shows you limitation, you must show the world your imagination. When the body cries out, you must answer with the silent authority of I am. For I am is the name of God within you. It is the name that reshapes all things. When you can stand unmoved, unwavering, and sure in the midst of the storm of the senses, you have mastered this law. You have proven that you are not the shadow but the light. But this begs the next practical question. If we are not to trust our outer senses, we must learn to master our inner senses. If fact is an illusion, how do we make the unseen real? We do this by mastering the one creative force that impresses the subconscious. We must now explore the greatest secret of all, the secret of feeling. This is the very heart of the law. We have established that your I am is the creator. We have established that the senses are an illusion, a mirror reflecting only the past. This creates the most important question. If I am to deny my senses, if I am to ignore the facts of the world, what am I to use as my guide? If I cannot trust what I see, what must I trust? The answer is the one true creative medium. The answer is the language of the subconscious. The answer is feeling. For feeling is the secret. This is, perhaps, the most misunderstood word in the entire spiritual dictionary. When we speak of feeling, the world thinks of emotion. It thinks of excitement, of happiness, of sadness, or of fear. These are not creative feelings. These are reactions. These are chaotic, uncontrolled responses to the world of appearances, the world of the senses. The world of emotion is the world of the old man. He sees a symptom, and he feels fear. He gets good news, and he feels excitement. He is a puppet, and his emotions are the strings being pulled by the very illusions we have just agreed to deny. The feeling we speak of is something entirely different. It is not a loud, chaotic emotion. It is a deep, profound, and subtle tone. It is the knowing. It is the conviction. It is the quiet, internal assumption that a thing is true. This feeling is the solder that fuses your I amness, your awareness, to the state you desire. You can think I am healthy all day long, but if you do not feel it to be true, you are planting no seed. A thought without feeling is a dead seed. It has no life, no creative power. It is the feeling that impregnates the subconscious. How do we assume this state of health when the senses deny it? The secret is to capture the feeling of the wish already fulfilled. But what is this feeling? It is not the emotional surge of I am healed, which still implies you were just sick. It is the calm, peaceful, natural feeling of simply being healthy. Think of it this way. You do not wake up every morning and feel a jolt of excitement because your arms are intact. You do not feel a surge of emotion because your lungs are breathing. Why? Because you assume these things. They are natural to you. The feeling is one of normalcy. This is the feeling you must capture. The feeling of naturalness. You must find the inner tone, the inner state, where your desired health is not a miracle, not a future hope, but a current natural fact. Let us explore this. What would it feel like if you were already the embodiment of vibrant health? You would not feel longing, for you cannot long for what you are. You would not feel hopeful, for hope is a confession that you do not have it yet. You would not even feel excited, for excitement is the recognition of something new. You would feel peace. You would feel ease. You would feel normal. You would feel relief. That feeling, that quiet, profound tone of relief, that is the feeling that creates. It is the feeling of having arrived. It is the amen. It is finished. So, how do we generate this feeling when the body is screaming the opposite? You do not fight the body. You do not fight the old feeling. As we learn from the transcript, what you fight, you magnify. You simply turn your attention away from it. You close your eyes. You enter the secret place. You enter your own wonderful human imagination. Your imagination is the only reality. It is the one place where Christ, your I am, is all-powerful. In this secret place, you are not bound by the facts of the senses. Now, you must construct a simple scene. This is the great art. Do not construct a scene of getting well. This is a common mistake. If you imagine yourself in a hospital bed, and a doctor tells you you are getting better, you are still impressing the subconscious with the image of being in a hospital. You must construct a scene that takes place after the wish is fulfilled. It must be a scene that implies you are already healed. What would you do? What is a simple, natural action you would perform if you were already in perfect health? Perhaps you are climbing a mountain you thought you could never climb again. Perhaps you are running freely on a beach, feeling the wind. Perhaps you are dancing in your living room. Perhaps you are simply engaging in a normal, everyday activity, but with a profound sense of ease and vitality that you have been missing. But the most potent scenes are those that involve others. Imagine a loved one. See them in your mind's eye. Hear them speak to you. What would they say? They would not say, "You look like you are getting better." They would say, "I have never seen you look so well." Or, "It is wonderful to see you so vibrant." Now, this is the key. Do not observe this scene as if you are watching a motion picture. That is observation, not creation. You must be in the scene. You are not the audience. You are the actor. If you are imagining running on the beach, you must feel the firm, wet sand beneath your feet. You must feel the cool spray of the ocean on your face. You must smell the salt in the air. You must hear the sound of the waves. You must use the senses of your imagination to make the inner world more real, more vivid, and more intense than the outer world of shadows. If you are imagining your friend's congratulation, you must feel the warmth of their hand as they grasp your shoulder. You must see the joy in their eyes. You must hear the exact tone of their voice. And as you hold this scene, you must allow yourself to feel the one true creative feeling, the feeling of "it is done," the feeling of relief, the feeling of "this is real, this is natural, this is now." You do not heal yourself by fighting illness. You heal yourself by assuming the health that already is. The act of fighting is a feeling state of tension, struggle, and resistance. It is an acknowledgement of the power of the sickness. The act of assuming is a feeling state of peace, acceptance, and release. It is an acknowledgement of the power of your I am. This is the great psychological shift. You must move your feeling state from I am fighting a disease to I am being whole. You must remain faithful to this state. This is not a practice you do once. You must live in this feeling. You must dwell in it. Let no outer condition shake this inner conviction. This feeling, this assumption of the wish fulfilled, must become your secret home. It must be the place you return to again and again in your mind. The world may shout no. The senses may scream liar. You must become inwardly deaf and blind to their testimony. You must trust the feeling more than you trust the fact. For the feeling is the creative cause, and the fact is only the dead past tense effect. The law is simple. You impress the subconscious with feeling. The subconscious is the impartial builder. It does not care what you feel. It will build the likeness of the feeling you give it. If you persist in the feeling of fear, it will build a world of things to fear. If you persist in the I am sick feeling, it will build a sicker body. But if you, in defiance of all evidence, persist in the feeling of I am whole, I am vibrant, I am free, the subconscious must. It has no choice. It must build you a body and a world that match that assumption. This is the law and the prophets. This is the secret. When the mind is still and the feeling is deep, the word is spoken, and the word never returns void. So enter the silence. Turn away from the noise of the world. Dwell in the image of wholeness. Imagine it with such intensity that you lose yourself in it. And when the feeling, the tone, the sense of naturalness takes root, the outer world must conform. That is the law. That is the promise. But how do we live in this state? How do we walk the earth while our inner man is in a different reality? This is the next step. This is the art of not just visiting the end, but living from the end. This is the great turning point. We have established the law. I am is the creator. We have dismantled the illusion of the senses, knowing they are only reporters of the past. And we have found the key, the one and only creative medium, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, we arrive at the great divide. This is the difference between the mystic and the masses. It is the difference between the master and the slave. Most of the world is living for their desire. They are living in a state of lack. They are perpetually trying to get something. They are struggling and fighting and hoping and praying to an external God for a future blessing. This entire state of being is a confession. It is a constant, powerful, creative prayer that says, I do not have it. And the law, the great I am, which is impartial, responds to your true assumption. It hears your confession of I do not have, and it faithfully gives you more of that state. It gives you more lack. You are praying for health, and the law gives you the experience of needing health. You are fighting illness, and the law gives you more to fight. This is the state of living for the end. The master, the awakened soul, does not do this. The master lives from the end. This is the great psychological reversal. This is the art of spiritual mastery. To live from the end is to psychologically move from the state of lack to the state of having. It is to identify yourself right now with your fulfilled desire. It is to walk this earth as if it were already true. This is not a passive wishing. This is not an act of willpower. This is a gentle, confident, infinite movement into the state of already being the one you desire to be. The world responds not to your desires, but to your assumptions. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. You must, therefore, stop wanting to be healthy and start being healthy. But the senses cry, I am not healthy. Here is the pain. Here is the diagnosis. Here is the proof. And this is where we must make the most important distinction of all. The distinction between pretending and assuming. The world thinks this is pretending. Pretending is a lie. Pretending is knowing deep down that it is not true. If you walk around saying, I am healthy with your lips, while your feeling, your inner conviction is, I am sick, you have a house divided. You are at war with yourself. You are pretending, and it will not work because the subconscious responds to your dominant feeling, not your empty words. We are not pretenders. We are assumers. What is an assumption? An assumption is an act of identity. It is claiming a higher truth is real, in spite of the temporary, contrary evidence of the senses. It is ignoring the current facts and living boldly in the unseen, knowing that the unseen is the one and only creative reality. Your internal state projects itself upon the screen of space. To live from the end is to change the projector, your imagination, rather than fighting the image on the screen, your body. So, how do we do this? We must clothe our inner man in the new garment. Your awareness Your I amness is naked, it is pure and formless. Your state of consciousness is the garment it wears. For most, you have been wearing the old, tattered garment of I am sick, I am a victim. You have worn it for so long, you believe it is you, but it is just a garment, and you can change it. The garment of your fulfilled desire, the garment of I am whole, is already tailored. It is already waiting for you in your imagination. In part 3, you learn to feel what it was like to wear it. Now, in part 4, you are commanded to live in it. You must let your inner man, your I am, walk, breathe, speak, and rest in the knowing that I am whole. What does this mean in practice? It means your inner conversations must change. A sick man, living for health, thinks about his illness. He discusses it. He fears it. He researches it. His mental energy is consumed by the problem. A healthy man, living from health, thinks about his life. He thinks about his work, his joy, his plans for the future. His mental energy is consumed by living. You must begin to think from the assumption of health. If a thought of your condition arises, you do not fight it. You do not fear it. You simply revise it. You acknowledge it as an old echo and return to your center. You return to the feeling of being whole. You must train yourself as a shepherd trains a sheepdog to keep your attention on what you have decreed to be true. You must walk, talk, and move as one who is whole. This does not mean you must run a marathon if your body is in pain. That is the outer world. This is an inner act. It means you no longer identify as a sick person. You no longer make your decisions from a place of fear or limitation. You rest in the inner poise and confidence of one who is already what he desires to be. The body may still show signs of distress. This is the great test. This is where the shadow of the past is still lingering. But you no longer accept those signs as final. You no longer rehearse the story of illness. Instead, you dwell in the new state. You return to it again and again, in thought, in feeling, and in imagination. This is the great law spoken by the Master. Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye have received them, and ye shall have them. Look at the verb tense. It is the entire secret. It is not believe that ye will receive, for that, as we know, is to confess separation. It is believe that ye have received. It is past tense. It is done. To live from the end is to accept the gift now in imagination. It is to live in the state of, thank you, Father, not please, Father. It is the shift from petition to thanksgiving. Your part is to accept the gift. Your part is to feel the gratitude of its possession. The how it will come to pass, the when it will appear in the shadow world, is not your concern. The bridge of incidents will be built by a power infinitely wiser than your conscious mind. Your only responsibility is to remain in the state, to live in the end. When doubt arises, and it will, for the senses are persistent, you must have a protocol. This is where you prove your mastery. Do not argue with the doubt. Do not fight the symptom. To do so is to give it reality. You must, in that moment, return to your inner sanctuary. The world may shout contradiction. The headlines may scream. The doctor may shake his head. Your inner eye must remain fixed. You must say to yourself, this is only the outpicturing of an old, dead assumption. It has no power over me. I live now in the assumption of perfect health. I walk in the light of my fulfilled desire. And then you do the work. You close your eyes, you bring forth your scene, you feel the relief, you feel the gratitude, you feel the naturalness of being whole, and you rest in it. This is how you live from the end. It is not one act, but a state of being. It is a conscious, deliberate choice to live your inner life in harmony with your desire, regardless of the outer world's disharmony. Let this new state grow in secret, as a seed grows beneath the soil. You do not dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing. You water it. You trust it. How do you water this seed? With your attention. You water it with your faith. You water it by persisting in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let no outer condition shake this inner conviction. You must cultivate a passive attitude to the outer world, but a fiercely active attitude to your inner world. Be indifferent to the facts, but be passionately loyal to your assumption. You must, in essence, conduct your life from this new mental tone. What is the tone of health? It is peace, it is confidence, it is ease, it is a lack of anxiety. A person who is healthy does not anxiously check their body every 5 minutes. Am I still healthy? To do so would be to confess doubt. You must reach the point of naturalness. You must live from the end with such consistency that the assumption of health becomes more real, more natural, and more familiar to you than the old, habitual assumption of sickness. This is the art. This is the work. This is the entire journey. You are not changing the shadow. You are changing the self that casts the shadow. But as you practice this, you will find that the past is a powerful anchor. The facts of yesterday, the diagnosis you received, the pain you felt this morning, these things create a powerful memory that seems to chain you to the old state. To truly live from the end, in this perfect, eternal now, we must learn how to redeem the past. We must learn how to break those chains. We must learn the divine art of revision. This is the master key. This is the practical application of the law that separates the student from the master. We have come this far. We have accepted the first great truth, that our I am, our own awareness, is the one and only creator. We have dismantled the second truth, which is the illusion, that our senses are merely passive reporters of a past creation, not a present one. We have embraced the third truth, the secret. That feeling is the language of God, the medium by which we impress the subconscious. And we have committed to the fourth truth, the great work, to live from the end, to psychologically inhabit the state of our fulfilled desire. But now, we must face the most practical and persistent enemy of all. We must face yesterday. You have done the work. You have, in your imagination, felt the reality of your health. You are living from the end. And then you wake up. The moment you open your eyes, the world rushes in. But it is not just the world that rushes in. It is your memory. The memory of the diagnosis you received last week. The memory of the pain you felt yesterday afternoon. The memory of the fearful conversation you had this morning. This is the anchor that pulls you, with all the force of habit, out of your new, glorious state of I am whole, and chains you back to the old, dead state of I am sick. The senses, as we have learned, report the past, and memory is the storehouse of that past. Your current body is the physical embodiment of your habitual memories and assumptions. To change the body, you must not only decree a new future, you must redeem the past. This is where the slumbering world has no answer. The world tells you to cope with the past, to process it, to accept it. This is a life sentence. To accept a negative past is to condemn yourself to repeat it, for the subconscious will faithfully project whatever you accept as true. We are not here to accept a negative past. We are here to change it. We are here to redeem it. We are here to revise it. This is the divine tool given to man. This is the art of the master gardener. It is called the pruning shears of revision. Let us think of your mind as a garden. Your glorious assumption, I am whole, is the most perfect seed you have planted in it. But every day, weeds grow. What are these weeds? A moment of pain is a weed. A conversation of fear is a weed. A doctor's negative report is a large, choking weed. The world, in its ignorance, goes to sleep at night with a garden full of weeds. They let the sun go down upon their anger, their disappointment, their fear, and their pain. And what happens when they enter the state of sleep? Sleep is the sacred time when the subconscious mind is most open, most receptive. They carry these weeds into the fertile soil of sleep, and the subconscious, which is the faithful servant, waters them. It magnifies them. And they wake up the next morning to find that the weeds of yesterday have become the hard realities of today. We will not do this. As a master of the law, you have a sacred duty. You have a command: do not let the sun go down upon your anger. This is not a moral suggestion. This is a creative instruction. It is the most practical psychological law you will ever hear. You must not carry the failures, the pains, or the limitations of the day into your sleep. You must prune them. Here is the art. This is the sacred practice you must perform every night without fail. As you lie down to rest, you enter a state of stillness. You do not review the day in anger, or in judgment, or in regret. You review it as a master. You walk back through the hours of your day, from the end to the beginning, and you look for those moments that did not conform to your ideal. You look for the weeds. Perhaps you had a conversation with a friend who asked about your health, and you replied, "I am still struggling." You have found a weed. Perhaps you received a medical bill in the mail that caused a jolt of fear. You have found a weed. Perhaps at 3 o'clock you felt a sharp, familiar pain, and your inner voice screamed, "It is still here. It is not working." You have found the root of the weed. The world would tell you to accept this. The master revises it. You take that scene, that conversation with your friend, and in your imagination, you rewrite it. You do not observe it, you relive it. This time, when your friend asks how you are, you hear yourself say, with the inner feeling of truth, "I have never felt better." You feel the genuine relief in their response. You feel the joy of that conversation. You experience it as real, right now. You take the scene with the medical bill. You see it in your mind's eye. But this time, as you open it, it is not a bill, it is a letter. It is a report from your doctor stating, "The tests are clear. We do not know what happened, but you are in perfect health." You feel the profound wave of gratitude. You feel the tears of joy. You feel it. And now, you take the most important scene, the moment of pain. You go back to 3 o'clock. You feel the sensation begin. But this time, instead of identifying with it, instead of calling it my pain, you revise the script. In your imagination, you feel the sensation, and you relax into it. You speak to it with authority. You say, "This is an old shadow. It has no power. I am whole." And in your imagination, you feel the sensation dissolve. You feel a wave of warmth, of life, of energy replace it. You feel your own inner voice say, "It is finished. I am free." What have you just done? You have not lied to yourself. You have not pretended. You have used the one and only creative power, your imagination, to change the past. This is the great mystery. The past only exists in one place, your imagination. The effects of the past are crystallized in your body and your world. But the cause of the past is a memory, and a memory is an image in your imagination. Since your imagination is God, you have the authority to enter any part of your timeline, any memory, and remold it. When you revise a scene with feeling, you are impressing the subconscious. The subconscious is the great impartial recorder. It does not know the difference between a real physical event and a real imagined event. It only knows what it feels. By reliving the scene in its new, revised form, you have given the subconscious a new memory. You have, quite literally, replaced the old negative memory with a new, positive one. And now, the chain is broken. The subconscious mind, which would have projected that memory of pain into more pain tomorrow, now has a new command. It has the command of relief and wholeness. You have changed the cause. And because the cause is changed, the effect must change. This is the art of redemption. This is the art of forgiveness. When you are told to forgive, it does not mean to passively accept an injury. It means to forgive the event a new form. You take the ugly, negative scene and you forgive it by reshaping it into a beautiful, positive one. You redeem it. You are washing the day's experiences in the blood of Christ, which is the creative power of your imagination. You must do this every single night. If you do this faithfully, you will begin to notice a miracle. You will find that not only does your future change, but your past itself seems to change. People may even have a different memory of the event you revised. This is how you cleanse the body. The body is the outpicturing of memory. A body that holds on to the facts of past illness, past trauma, or past fear is a body in a state of dis-ease. Revision is the ultimate psychological and spiritual detox. You are cleansing your mind of the toxins of negativity, and as your mind becomes clean, the shadow your body must conform. It must reflect the new, clean, redeemed image you hold within. This is the tool that makes living from the end possible. Because now, when you wake up, the memory of yesterday no longer contradicts your assumption. The memory of yesterday supports it. You are no longer a house divided. You have made your inner world, your past, and your present all agree with your fulfilled desire. You have pruned away the images of sickness. You have planted only the seeds of health. You have watered them with feeling. And you have given them the fertile soil of sleep in which to grow. This is the work of a master. It requires diligence. But it is not a struggle. It is an act of liberation. It is the secret that unties the knots of fact and sets you free. But now, having done this, there is one final great requirement. You have planted the seed. You have revised the past. Now you must perform the one act that ensures the harvest. You must persist. We have paused here, at the center of a great work. You have just been given the tool of redemption, the pruning shears of revision. This is not mere theory. This is the practical application of the law that sets man free. To understand this one tool is to change your past, but to master your life, you must understand the entire law. This channel is a sanctuary for those who are ready to awaken. It is a school for those who are ready to move from being a victim of the senses to the master of their own assumption. If this exploration of your true power resonates with the truth within you, then I invite you to join this congregation of the mind. Subscribe now. Do not miss a single teaching. Continue this journey with us, and let us together claim the inheritance that has been ours from the beginning. Now, having learned to redeem the past, we must face the challenge of the present. We must learn the most vital component of all. We must learn the law of persistence. This is the furnace. This is where the dross is burned away and the gold of faith is purified. We have come to the heart of the great work. We have accepted that our I am is the one and only creative power. We have, with courage, turned our backs on the army of the senses, knowing they are but a mirror of the past. We have learned the secret language of God, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. We have learned to live from the end, to psychologically inhabit our new, whole, and perfect reality. We have even learned the divine art of revision, to prune the garden of our mind and redeem the past. We have done everything right. We have planted the perfect seed in the perfect soil. And now we are met with the most subtle, the most profound, and the most vital component of all. We are met with the law of persistence. It is not enough to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled for one moment, for one glorious evening. It is not enough to revise your day once and then return to the old man of limitation. This is where the entire world fails. They visit the promised land in their imagination for a fleeting moment, and then they return to the wilderness of their senses for the other 23 hours of the day. And this, my friends, is the very definition of a house divided against itself. And we are told a house divided cannot stand. You cannot serve two masters. This is not a moral commandment. This is a cold, impersonal, psychological law. Who are the two masters? They are the two I ams that are fighting for your loyalty. There is the I am of your desire, the I am whole, and there is the I am of your senses, the I am sick. You cannot serve both. Every moment of your day, you are making a choice. You are casting a vote. When you feel a symptom and you allow your inner conversation to become one of fear, you have bowed to the master of the senses. You have served the old man of limitation. When you hear a negative report and you accept it as final, you are serving that master. When you feel that same symptom and you ignore it, you turn your attention away and you return to the feeling of I am whole. You have served your true Lord and Savior. You have served the Christ within you, your own wonderful imagination. Persistence is the act of remaining loyal to the new, unseen master in the face of the old, visible tyrant. Persistence is the key. It is not enough to assume the state once, The assumption must be constant, it must be unwavering, it must be consistent. This is where the power lies. This is the great secret of repetition. Why? We must understand the nature of the subconscious mind. The subconscious, which governs the body and all its functions, is the great servant. But it is a servant of habit. It is shaped not by a single thought or a fleeting emotion, but by persistent, repeated ideas. A lifetime of living in the state of I am vulnerable, or I am sick, has created deep grooves, deep habits in the subconscious. You have, in effect, trained your body to be sick. Now, you must retrain it. Every time you assume the feeling of health, of vitality, of wellness, you are impressing that state more deeply upon your subconscious mind. Each act of persistent faith is like a hammer blow, forging a new reality. The first impression may not be enough. The 10th may not be enough. But you persist. You remain committed to your new assumption, regardless of how things appear on the surface. This is the great test of faith. And faith, true faith, is persistence. The senses will tempt you. This is their job. They are the guardians of the old world. The moment you declare your freedom, the moment you assume your new state, the entire army of the senses will rush forward to tell you it is not working. You are a fool. You are still sick. Look, feel, the pain is still here. And what is your response? You do not fight them. You do not argue. The moment you argue with the senses, you have lost the battle. You have given them reality. No. Your response is persistence. Your response is to ignore them. Your response is to turn away and return to your inner sanctuary. You return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must become, in your inner world, like a stubborn child who refuses to see anything but what he has chosen to see. This is not a fight. This is not a struggle. This is the crucial distinction. The moment you feel effort, the moment you feel struggle, you are not persisting in the assumption of the wish fulfilled. You are fighting a battle, which is a confession that you do not have your desire. Persistence is passive. It is an effortless loyalty. It is rest. How can this be? It is the persistence of the seed. When you plant a seed in the ground, it does not struggle to become a tree. It does not fight the darkness. It simply continues to exist as a seed. It holds the assumption of the tree within itself. And you, the gardener, you do not dig it up every day to see if it is growing. To do so would be to kill it. To do so would be a confession of doubt. No, you water it. You trust the law. When you check your body for results every 5 minutes, when you anxiously take your temperature, when you look in the mirror hoping to see a change, you are digging up the seed. You are, in that moment, confessing that you do not have it. You are living for the end, not from the end. So how do you water the seed of your assumption? You water it with your faith. You water it with your attention. You water it by returning to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When the world shows you limitation, you show the world your imagination. When the body cries out, you answer with the silent authority of your I am. You return to your scene. You feel the reality of it. You give thanks for it. And you go about your day. That is persistence. It is easy to be swayed by what the physical senses show you. It is the path of the old man. But this is where true power lies. When you persist, despite all evidence to the contrary, you are exercising faith. You are proving to yourself and to the subconscious that you are not governed by the world of appearances, but by the world of imagination and belief. Persistence means continuing to affirm, to feel, and to believe in the fulfillment of your desire, no matter what. You must remain committed to your new assumption. You must choose this day whom you will serve. You cannot have a divided mind. You cannot serve both sickness and health. You must choose health. And to choose it means to assume it, to embody it, to persist in it, in thought, in tone, in your inner conversations. Let the inner man, the I am whole, rise up and take command. Let him walk by faith, not by sight. And know this with absolute certainty. As you walk, reality bends to your inner decree. This requires faith, and more importantly, it requires persistence in the assumption of the state desired. The body, like all of creation, must conform to the inner state. If you remain unwavering in your assumption of health, the body will eventually align with that inner state. So remain persistent. Stay firm in your belief that you are already healed, already whole, and already well. This persistence, combined with faith and imagination, is the magic that will transform your health and manifest the vibrant vitality you desire. This is the great, silent, inner walk. It is the walk that impresses the subconscious. You are not forcing or struggling. You are simply remaining consistent in your inner vision. Your assumption, when consistently held, will grow and bear fruit. It will reshape your body and your life. This is the meaning of walking by faith. Faith is not a single blind leap. Faith is the persistent walk in the darkness, knowing the sun is there, even when the senses report only night. Persistence is the art of outlasting the old reality. The old shadow, the sickness, is stubborn. It is the result of years of habitual negative assumption. It will not dissolve in 1 second. It will test you. It will linger. Your persistence is your declaration that you are more stubborn than the shadow. Your faith is more real than the fact. And as you persist, you will reach a new state. You will reach a state where it no longer feels like persistence. You will reach a state of knowing, a state of peace. This is the state of the Sabbath. It is the state of rest. It is the feeling where you are no longer trying to feel healthy. You simply are. You are no longer persisting in an assumption. It has become your nature. This is the goal. You persist until it feels natural. You persist until the new state becomes your home. This unwavering, persistent assumption of health, it has a story. It has a beautiful parable in our scriptures. It is the story of redemption, the story of the one who was restored. This is the very nature of authority. We have journeyed this far. We have passed through the furnace of persistence. We have accepted that our work is to remain loyal to the unseen state, to stand firm in the assumption of I am whole, even as the senses the old tyrant scream their contradictions. Persistence is the school of faith. It is the discipline. It is the work. But what is the result of this persistence? What is the character of the man who has persisted? He no longer hopes. He knows. His inner voice changes. It is no longer the voice of a student, or a beggar, or a hopeful man. It becomes the voice of a master. It becomes the voice of authority. This authority is the subject of our entire restoration. And this authority is perfectly captured for us in a psychological drama, a parable given to us in our scriptures. This is the story of the leper who comes to the master. This is not a story of two men who lived 2,000 years ago. This is a psychological blueprint. It is a story that is happening now within you. You are both characters in this drama. The leper in the story is the man who is identified with his problem. He is the old man. He is the embodiment of your I am sick state. His leprosy is the outpicturing of his inner state of uncleanness, of limitation, of separation from the rest of mankind. He is the man who lives by the senses, the man who is a victim, the false indictment we cast out. He is the man who has until this moment been at the mercy of the shadow world. But this leper does something profound. He has an awakening. He hears of a power that can redeem him. He seeks out the master. And who is the master? The master is not a man. The master is your own wonderful human imagination. The master is your I am, the creative power within you, as we learned in part 1. The leper, your old self, now stands in the presence of your I am. And look closely at the dialogue. This is the entire secret of the prayer that is answered. The leper does not beg. He does not cry. He does not list his grievances. He does not say, Master, I have been sick for 10 years. The doctors have given up. I am in pain. Please, please, please heal me. To do so would be to affirm the sickness. It would be to persist in the old state. No. He makes a profound statement of faith. He says, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. Let us dismantle this prayer. Lord, he acknowledges the power. He acknowledges the I am as the supreme authority. If thou wilt, this is not if you feel like it. This is a recognition. If you are willing, if this is the law, and then the most important part, thou canst make me clean. This is not a prayer of hope. It is a prayer of conviction. He is not focused on the problem, leprosy. He is focused on the solution, cleanness. He is not focused on his current state. He is focused on the power of the Master. He is stating, I know that you, my imagination, have the power to do this. He has already accepted the law. And what is the response of the Master? What is the response of your I am when you finally turn to it with this kind of authority and faith? The Master does not deliberate. He does not negotiate. He does not say, I will try. He does not say, let us hope. He does not say, come back tomorrow. He stretches forth his hand. This stretching forth is the act of feeling. It is the assumption, and he speaks the word of authority. I will, be thou clean. I will. This is the I am, accepting the assumption. This is the yes of God. This is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, as we learned in part 3. It is the acceptance of the end, and then the command, the decree. Be thou clean. This is the voice you acquire after persistence. It is the voice that no longer asks for health, but claims it. It is the inner word, spoken from a place of absolute, unshakable knowing. And what happens? The scripture tells us, and immediately his leprosy was cleansed. This immediacy is not necessarily 1 second in the shadow world. It is immediacy in the creative world, in the world of imagination. It means the cause was changed instantly and completely. The moment the assumption was accepted, the moment the I am decreed I am clean, the psychological fact was established. The old state of leprosy was annihilated, and the new state of cleanness was put in its place. The shadow world of the body now has a new blueprint. It has no choice but to conform. It must obey this new, immediate, and authoritative command. This is the parable of restoration. And this is your work. You must stop being the beggar and become the master. You must stop being the leper who is only aware of his sickness and become the I am who is only aware of wholesomeness. How do we apply this? This is where we must speak to our body with this same authority. You have, perhaps for years, been speaking to your body with the authority of a victim. Your inner conversations have been a curse. Every time you feel a pain and you say, my pain is back, you have spoken a command. You have said, be thou in pain. And the body, the loyal servant, has obeyed. Every time you have looked in the mirror with fear, you have said, be thou old, be thou weak. And the body, which only responds to your I am, has said, yes, Master. We must reverse this. We must bless the body. The body is not your enemy. It is not a broken machine. It is the most perfect, loyal, and obedient servant you have. It has been perfectly loyal to your old negative commands. Its loyalty is absolute. Now, you, the restored master, must give it a new command. You do not yell at it. You do not force it. Authority is not force. Authority is quiet, deep, knowing. It is the voice of the master, I will. You call your body to attention. You call every cell, every organ, every system, and you bless it. You speak to it in the secret place of your imagination from the end. You say, you are a temple of the living God. You say, you are vibrant. You are renewed. You are restored. You are not affirming this. An affirmation is an attempt to make something true. This is a decree. This is a statement of fact from a higher level of awareness. You are speaking from the state of the wish fulfilled, part 4. Let these be the words that echo within. This is the secret whisper. Your inner conversations must now match your desire. For what you whisper in secret, you shall shout from the rooftops of your reality. Let us understand this law. The secret whisper is your new, persistent, part 6, inner conversation. It is the new habit of your mind. It is the new, authoritative voice of the Master, who has chosen to serve only the state of I am whole. The shout from the rooftops is the manifestation. It is your body, your health, your entire world, now conforming to this new inner decree. It is your restored, vital body shouting to the world the truth of what you whispered in the depths of your own soul. Let the inner man, the I am, rise clothed in strength and certainty. Walk by faith, not by sight. Walk in the authority of the Master who knows, I will. Be thou clean. This is the power of restoration. It is not healing a broken thing. It is revealing the perfection that was always there, hidden behind the illusion of the senses. Now, you have spoken the word. You have given the command. Your I am has decreed it. The parable tells us the result was immediate, but you look at the shadow world and you are confronted by the one final illusion. You are confronted by the illusion of time. This is the final test of faith. We have walked a profound journey. We have accepted the authority of our I am as the one and only creator. We have boldly turned our backs on the illusion of the senses, knowing they are but a shadow of the past. We have learned the secret language of God, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. We have, with mastery, learned to live from the end, inhabiting our new reality. We have used the divine pruning shears to revise and redeem our past. We have stood firm in the furnace of persistence, and we have, like the master in the parable, spoken the word of authority, I will, be thou clean. And in that moment of true assumption, the creation was finished. It was, as the parable states, immediate. But then, you open your eyes, you look at the shadow world, you look at the mirror, you feel the body, and the great final adversary, the last giant in the promised land, rises before you. This giant is your concept of time. You cry out, I have done it all. I have been assuming, but it has not yet appeared. I have decreed it, but my senses deny it. When will it come? This is the question that defines a man's faith. This is the illusion that shatters the dreams of millions. They plant their seed, and when it does not sprout by morning, they declare the harvest has failed. We must, for our own salvation, dismantle and understand the matter of time. First, you must accept this. Time is not a master. Time is not a barrier. Time is not a law unto itself. Time is but a servant of imagination. In the real world, the creative world of your imagination, there is no time. There is only now. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it is done. It is an immediate, present, and finished fact. The leprosy was cleansed immediately. But we live in a world of shadows, a world that appears to move in sequence. This world is a classroom for the soul, and time is the measurement of this sequence. Time is the process of an invisible seed hardening into a visible fact. Time is but a servant. It does not create, it unfolds. Your assumption of health is not in the future. It is not delayed. It is unfolding. Let us use the most perfect analogy ever given. The seed. You have performed the most sacred act. You have taken a seed, your desire, your seeing, your feeling of I am whole, and you have planted it in the only creative soil there is, your subconscious mind. Now, what is the law of the seed? The seed is not a hope. The seed is not a maybe. A healthy seed, planted in fertile soil, is the promise of the plant. Within the acorn is the entire, full-grown oak tree. It is not a possibility. It is a compressed reality waiting to unfold. Your assumption is that seed. It is your health. It is your vitality. It is not going to be your health. It is your health in its compressed potential form. The seed you have planted is growing. Now, what is the work of the gardener? Does the gardener plant the seed and then return every hour frantically digging in the soil, crying, "Where is it? Is it working? I do not see the tree. The law is a lie." We would call this man a fool. We know that to dig up the seed is to kill it. To dig up the seed is the ultimate act of doubt. It is the confession that you do not trust the law of germination. And yet, this is precisely what you do. Every time you check your body for symptoms, you are digging up the seed. Every time you look in the mirror for proof, you are digging up the seed. Every time you feel an old pain and your heart sinks in fear, you are digging up the seed. You are, in that moment, declaring your doubt in the law. You are canceling your assumption. You are telling the subconscious mind, stop the process. I do not believe it. My old assumption of sickness is still more real to me than my new assumption of health. What then is your true responsibility? It is the only responsibility you have. Your only responsibility is to remain in the state of the wish fulfilled. Your work is to be the good gardener. The good gardener plants the seed, and then what? He trusts. He knows the law. He walks away from the plot of soil in full confidence that the seed is doing its work. And what does he do while he trusts? He waters it. How do you water your assumption? You water it with your faith. You water it with your attention. Every time you return to the feeling of I am whole, you are watering your seed. Every time you ignore a symptom and live from the end, part 4, you are watering your seed. Every time you perform revision, part 5, and clean the garden, you are watering your seed. You do not water it with anxiety. You do not water it with impatience. Impatience is the greatest form of doubt. If you are truly living from the end, if you are the healthy man, why would you be impatient? You cannot be impatient for what you already are. The very feeling of impatience is the confession that you are not in the state. It is the proof that you are still the old man waiting for a change, rather than the new man being the change. You must trust the process. God needs no time. Only man, in his slumber, imagines delay. The delay you perceive is not a denial. It is the natural interval required for the seed to germinate. It is the season. Just as the fruit ripens in its season, so too does your assumption bloom into form. This season, this interval, is what we call the bridge of incidence. This is a profound mystery. When you plant your assumption, I am whole, you have decreed the end. You must now trust the means. The subconscious, the infinite wisdom of your I am, is far wiser than your conscious, reasoning mind. It knows the perfect path to make your assumption a fact. It begins to build a bridge of events, a series of incidents that will lead you, in the most natural way possible, to your harvest. This bridge may appear in 100 different ways. It may come as a new doctor you happen to meet. It may come as a book you happen to read, with the one piece of information you needed. It may come as a sudden, spontaneous recovery. It may come as a new diet, a new friend, a new insight in a dream. It may come as a chance encounter. There is no chance. There is only the law of this bridge. Your conscious mind, the old man, cannot see this bridge. It is blind to it. It only knows its own small logical path. It tries to force the how. It says, I must be healed by this means, or it must happen by Friday. To interfere with the how is to break the bridge. It is an act of supreme arrogance. It is to assume your finite mind knows more than the infinite intelligence that is building the path. Your job is not to build the bridge. Your job is not to understand the how. Your job is not to dictate the when. Your job is to trust the law. Your job is to remain in the end. You must, with absolute faith, allow the bridge to be built. Do not dig up the seed with doubt. Do not rush the season with impatience. Do not interfere with the how by trying to build your own bridge. You must walk in faith, knowing that what you have assumed in imagination is already a fact. You must rest in that assumption. This rest is the Sabbath. It is the psychological state of, it is finished. It is the moment the gardener plants the seed, waters it, and trusts it to the law. He is done. He is at peace. Your anxiety, your impatience, your fear, this is you refusing to enter the Sabbath. This is you refusing to trust. So when the thought of time arises, you must recognize it as the great illusion. It is the final test of your persistence. You must say to it, time is my servant. It is not my master. My assumption is now. The unfolding is in the perfect, natural season. I will not dig up my seed. I trust the process. I trust the law. What you hold within, with feeling and consistency, must become your experience. It is not a maybe. It is not a possibility. It is a law. It is as certain as gravity. Your healing is already done. Your vitality is already yours. The seed is planted. Now, be the good gardener. Rest, trust, and know that the harvest is inevitable. And while you are in this state of faithful, trusting, knowing, there is one final, active, and most powerful expression of that trust. It is the seal of reality itself. It is the feeling of gratitude. This is the seal. This is the culmination of our faith. This is the moment where the Master turns from a doer to a beholder. We have walked this path step by step. We have overthrown the false indictment of victimhood, claiming our power as the I Am, the one creator. We have faced the giant, the illusion of the senses, and declared our independence from its tyranny. We have found the secret key, the divine language of feeling. We have learned to live from the end, to psychologically inhabit our new reality. We have taken the pruning shears of revision to redeem our past. We have stood in the furnace of persistence, proving our loyalty to the unseen. We have claimed the authority of the Master, speaking the parable of restoration as our own. And we have faced the final illusion, the matter of time, and have chosen to trust the law. We have planted our seed. We have entered the Sabbath, the state of rest, the state of knowing that the law is infallible and the harvest is assured. And now, what is the expression of this state? What is the feeling of the Sabbath? What is the natural fragrance of the man who is living from the end and trusting the process? It is gratitude. But this is not the gratitude that the world speaks of. This is the great secret. This is the seal of reality itself. The world practices a cheap, reactive gratitude. The world waits for the shadow world of the senses to deliver a fact. The body must be healed. The bank account must be full. Then, and only then, will the man of sense offer his thanks. This is not creation. This is reaction. This is the gratitude of the old man, the slave, who is thankful for whatever crumbs fall from the Master's table. We are not that man. We are the Master. Our gratitude is not a reaction. It is a creative act. It is perhaps the most potent creative act of all. We do not wait for the evidence to appear before we give thanks. We give thanks before the evidence appears, and our giving of thanks is the very act that commands the evidence to appear. This is the great mystery. Gratitude is the voice of the fulfilled desire. When you are in a state of longing, your feeling is I wish. When you are in a state of fighting, your feeling is I struggle. When you are in a state of patience, your feeling is I wait. But when you are in a state of gratitude, your feeling is I have. It is the Amen. It is finished. It is the seal that you place upon your assumption, making it an unshakable, unchangeable, and irreversible fact in consciousness. How do you know that you have truly assumed the state? How do you know if you have truly lived from the end? Part 4. You know by your own inner feeling. If you are still anxious, you have not succeeded. If you are still impatient, you have not succeeded. If you are still checking for symptoms, you have not succeeded. But when your dominant inner mood in the face of all contradiction is a quiet, profound gratitude, you have succeeded. You have planted the seed and you have entered the Sabbath. You have sealed the new reality. This is what we mean by faith in motion. Faith, as we learned in Persistence, Part 6, is loyalty to the unseen reality. But that loyalty can feel static. Gratitude is that faith in action. It is the kinetic energy of faith. It is the heart singing the truth of the assumption. Gratitude is the ultimate antidote to doubt. It is the divine weapon against the assaults of the senses. When the old man of sense, Part 2, rises up, when the body whispers in pain, when the bank account looks empty, the unpracticed mind meets this with fear. The student meets this with persistence, which is good, but the Master meets this with gratitude. You cannot be in a state of profound gratitude and a state of profound fear at the same time. They are mutually exclusive. They cannot occupy the same psychological space. One must cast out the other. Fear is the feeling of faith in evil, in lack. Gratitude is the feeling of faith in good, in fulfillment. When the symptom appears, do not fight it. Do not fear it. Do not even, in that moment, try to assume the new state. You have already done that. Now, you simply seal it. You flood your consciousness with a single overwhelming feeling. Thank you, Father, that I am whole. Thank you for my radiant health. Thank you that this is done. You will find in that instant that the fear cannot breathe. The doubt suffocates. You have replaced the atmosphere of fear with the divine atmosphere of knowing. Gratitude is the knowing of the wish fulfilled, expressed as a feeling. It is the most powerful instruction you can ever give to your subconscious mind. When you wish, the subconscious is confused. When you fight, the subconscious is conflicted. But when you are grateful, the message is the clearest, most unambiguous command possible. You are telling the subconscious, the case is closed. This is no longer a desire. This is a fact. This is real. This is done. Produce this. And the subconscious, the loyal and impartial servant, responds to the authority of this feeling. It responds to the finality of your decree. Let us look at the great parable of the seal. We are given the story of the 10 lepers. 10 men, all in the state of uncleanness, call out to the master. The master, who is your own I am, gives them a command. He tells them, "Go, show yourselves to the priests." This was a command to act from the end. They were not yet clean, but they had to assume they were clean and walk as if it were true. And the scripture tells us, as they went, they were cleansed. This is the law. This is the bridge of incidents, part 8 in action. They assumed, they acted from the assumption, and the manifestation occurred as they walked. But the story does not end there. This is the secret. 10 were cleansed, but only one, a Samaritan, a stranger, when he saw that he was healed, he returned. And what did he do? He fell on his face, giving him thanks. He returned to the master, to his I am, and he sealed the miracle with gratitude. And what did the master say to him? He did not say this to the other 9. He said it only to this one. He said, "Arise, go thy way. Thy faith hath made thee whole." The other 9 were cleansed. This is the outer change. But the one who gave thanks, he was made whole. This is an inner and outer, permanent restoration. His gratitude was the seal that made his new state an eternal, unshakable fact of his being. This is the power of gratitude. It is what makes the healing whole. It is what makes the assumption permanent. It is the seal of reality. So how do we practice this? This is not a 5-minute exercise. This is a new way of living. You must, from this moment on, cultivate a heart full of thanks. You must walk in this feeling. When you say, "Thank you for my radiant health," you are not lying. You are not pretending. You are speaking the truth of the one and only creative world. You are acknowledging the seed you have planted, part 8. You are watering it with the most powerful nutrient in the universe. You are aligning your entire being with the feeling of abundance, wellness, and vitality. What you focus on expands. And when you focus on the feeling of gratitude, you are commanding the universe to bring you more things to be grateful for. This is the Sabbath. This is the rest. It is not an anxious, impatient rest. It is a thankful rest. It is the rest of the good gardener who knows the harvest is inevitable. And so he gives thanks now for the law he trusts. Do not wait for the body to change. Do not wait for the evidence to appear. Be grateful now. Gratitude is faith in motion. It is the voice of your fulfilled desire. It is the sound of the unseen becoming seen. Feel it now. Feel the profound, quiet, powerful relief that it is done. Feel the warmth of that thankfulness swell in your chest. Let this be the new song of your soul. Let this be the new tone of your mind. Part 3. Walk, breathe, speak, and rest in this gratitude. For this feeling, this glorious feeling of thanksgiving, is the divine seal. It is the personal signature of your I am. authenticating your new reality, and making your assumption an unshakable, irreversible, and finished fact. And now, having walked this entire path, from the first step of claiming your power to the final seal of gratitude, there is only one thing left to do. It is to conclude the matter. It is to state, once and for all, the great and final truth of your own being. This is the final truth. This is the summation of the law and the promise. If you have walked with us on this journey, you have been given the keys to the kingdom. We have left no stone unturned. We have, together, dismantled the great prison of human belief. We began by overturning the false indictment. Introduction. The terrible lie that you are a victim of circumstance, a puppet of illness. We have established that you are the one and only Creator. We have identified that Creator. We have spoken its holy name. It is your I am, part 1, your own awareness of being. We learned that whatever you attach to this I am, you become. We face the great giant, the illusion of the senses, part 2, and we have seen it for what it is, a passive mirror, a shadow world that reports only the past, not the present truth. We have learned the secret language of God, the one and only creative medium, the feeling of the wish fulfilled, part 3. We have learned that a thought without feeling is dead, but an assumption felt as true impregnates the subconscious. We have learned the great art of the master, which is to live from the end, part 4, to psychologically move out of the state of lack and to dwell in the state of having. We have been given the divine tool, the pruning shears of revision, part 5, to redeem our past, to cleanse the garden of our mind, and to ensure we do not carry the weeds of yesterday into the fertile soil of tomorrow. We have stood in the furnace of persistence, part 6, learning that this is the test of faith. It is the act of remaining loyal to the unseen master, your I am, in the face of the visible tyrant, your senses. We have claimed our authority. We have understood the parable of restoration, part 7, learning to speak not as the beggar but as the master, who decrees with quiet knowing, I will, be thou clean. We have dismantled the final illusion, the matter of time, part 8, seeing it not as a barrier but as a servant. It is the natural, hidden interval, the season required for the seed of our assumption to become the tree of our reality. And finally, we have sealed our new creation with the most powerful force of all, gratitude, part 9. We have learned to give thanks before the evidence, knowing that this gratitude is the faith in motion, the Amen, the final seal that makes our new reality an irreversible fact in consciousness. And so, we arrive here at the conclusion. And what is the conclusion? The conclusion is this. Let us be clear. You are not waiting for healing. You are awakening to it. This is the great shift. The healing was always there. The wholeness, the vitality, the energy you seek is your natural state. It is your birthright. It was never lost. It was only obscured. It was hidden behind the fog of your old assumptions, your old fears, your old beliefs. Your work is not to build a new, healthy you. Your work is to reveal the perfect you that has been waiting patiently for you to assume it. God, your I am, needs no time. It is perfect now. Only man, in his slumber, imagines delay. But when you awaken, when you claim your authority, when you boldly and with full conviction assume the feeling of that which you are, mountains move. The crooked is made straight. The old shadow body becomes new. For your body is nothing but consciousness made visible. Let this be burned into your mind. Your body is a shadow. It is a loyal, biological, three-dimensional mirror. It is not the cause, it is the effect. It is not the source, it is the reflection. Change the object, and the reflection must change. Change consciousness, and you change all. This is the glorious and terrible responsibility of being human. You can no longer blame the world. You can no longer blame your past. You can no longer blame your genes. To do so is to remain a slave, to worship the shadow. From this day forward, you know the truth. The power and the responsibility lie within you. Let this be your knowing. There is no power outside of you. There is no force in heaven or on earth more potent than your own imagination, feeling filled and fixed. The doctor may speak, the world may warn, the newspapers may scream of new limitations, the senses may present their facts. Let them. They are all speaking from the shadow world. They are all reporters of the past. They have a word, but you have the final word. And that word, if spoken from the depth of assumption, from the feeling of its truth, becomes flesh and dwells among us. So go now. This is the great command. Go now. Not to beg. Begging is the confession of lack. Begging is the prayer of the slave, and it is answered with more of the state of begging. Not to wait. Waiting is the worship of time. Waiting is the confession of doubt. It is the act of digging up your seed. No. You go now to claim. What is this claiming? It is the highest act of faith. It is the synthesis of all we have learned. To claim is to persist. Part 6. In the feeling. Part 3. That you are Part 1. What you desire to be. It is the quiet, authoritative, inner knowing that it is done. It is the Sabbath. It is the rest. Part 8. It is the gratitude. Part 9. And where do you go to make this claim? You enter the secret place of the Most High. You enter the one and only reality. You enter your own wonderful human imagination. This is not a place you visit. This is the place you live. This is the true world. The outer world is the echo. Your imagination is the voice. You must dwell there. You must walk in your imagination as the man, the woman you desire to be. Walk in the end. See yourself as you desire to be seen. Hear yourself as you desire to be heard. Feel the reality of it. Feel the naturalness of it. See yourself well. Feel it. Rejoice in it. Praise it. For in the moment you do, in the moment you successfully assume this state, you have resurrected the truth of who you are. The you who was sick, the old man, has died. He was a phantom, an assumption. The you who is whole, the I am, has been resurrected. You are whole. You are vibrant. You are health itself, clothed in form. Let that, and that alone, be your constant confession. A confession is not a hope. It is a statement of truth. Your new, habitual, inner conversation is your constant confession. Let no outer thing, no symptom, no report, no echo from the shadow world contradict your new, sacred inner knowing. And as surely as the dawn follows the night, as surely as the seed you have planted must burst forth from the soil, your assumption, this new, sacred state you have made your home, will rise. It will externalize itself. Your body, the loyal mirror, will mirror the glory you have held in your mind. This is the art of assuming health. This is the secret of manifesting well-being. It is not by might. It is not by force or struggle. You do not fight the darkness of sickness. You simply turn on the light of your assumption. It is not by struggle. It is not the trying of the conscious, reasoning mind. It is by the still, bold voice within, the voice of your I am, the voice of the Master, who, with quiet authority and profound love, looks upon the shadow of limitation and simply declares, I am, and what you are in consciousness, you must become in form. Now is the time. Now is the moment. Not tomorrow, not after this lecture. Now, assume the feeling of radiant health. Assume it is true, and it shall be yours. You have heard the truth. You have been given the keys to the kingdom. The power to create, the power to redeem, and the power to be is your own wonderful human imagination. The journey of self-mastery does not end here. It is a daily practice. It is a moment-by-moment choice to be the master. If you are committed to this path, if you are truly ready to awaken from the slumber of limitation and live as the operant power that you are, then subscribe to this channel. This is your new home. This is your school. And now, as your first act of assuming your new state, Go to the comments below and make your declaration. Write simply, I am. Do not ask, do not hope. Declare it. Claim your power, assume your perfection, and watch your world transform.